Hey, what's up, Sandy?
Oh, it's a great day. It is a great day here at Dental Drill Bits. You know, Michael, I have been so excited about Plan Forward. I go out and I talk to all these practices and I work with practices and do seminars and I hear about membership plans and people struggling, trying to like literally holding folders when you go in the practice, holding folders that they open up and they have the names of all these patients on their membership plan. And then I came across Plan Forward. And that was after I looked at some other plans. So I am so excited to have Barry and Janelle on today's show.
Hi.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we have Janelle and Barry from Plan Forward. They are some of the masterminds behind Plan Forward. And they're going to be answering a lot of the questions that you have that you've sent in. And at the same time, we're going to be breaking down some barriers, right? When it comes to this membership plan on how to grow it, how to manage it, how to support it. Now, Janelle, when it comes to membership plans, some of the biggest pain points you've seen.
That's a great question. Honestly, really, it kind of boils down to how it's currently being managed. You can 100% manage your membership plan in-house. And we even talk about this. You'll see it on our website. Of course you can. You can do it. We'll tell you how. The problem becomes, and it's honestly how Plan Forward was born. It is, Megan, our founder and co-CEO, worked in a practice. They had their own membership plan. They managed it in-house. And she's at a point where they got so many members, it was like, there's got to be a better way. And that's was the birth idea behind Plan Forward and how it got started. And it becomes too much. When you have, 10, 20, maybe even 30 or so, members, it's not so bad, like Sandy said, that spreadsheet with, 10 or so members is not too hard. But when you're talking hundreds, it's a lot. It's too much to manage. And it becomes more of a headache for the front office team. The patients don't have any information. They don't know. It's not easily, to get them, involved and on board. So it's very different. And then other pain points that we've heard from, clients that have come on board with us that have worked with other membership plan companies. I'm not bashing any other membership plan company. This is just the honest truth. And what we've heard from clients who've come to us from other companies, the one big one is literally that it's the customer service. They just feel like they are not being heard. And when they have a problem, they want a solution because they have a patient they're trying to get a solution to. And when they're having to wait, and sometimes from one particular, they had to wait 2 weeks to get a response. That's just not acceptable. And so, there has to be a better way. And we feel like we have the better way.
That's good stuff. Yeah. So when it comes to managing in-house plans, and this is something, Sandy, maybe you can kind of also touch on, because I know you work with a lot of practices, Sandy, where they try to do it themselves, right? And can this work in the long run? Can it be sustainable forever? Or is it more like your Excel sheet is not cutting it anymore?
Well, the problem is all of us, all practices, all of us, we have the same number of hours in a day, right? And it's limited. So would you rather your team spend their day managing this membership plan or reaching out to patients and retaining more patients in the practice and being prepared for that phone when it rings? Or instead of I'm working on the membership plan and the phones are ringing again, these new patients keep calling and bothering me, right? You don't want that, right? So you have to think about the time of your team and how it's best spent.
Their ability day to day to track it in-house and to make sure that they're keeping track of which services have been completed and not ending up, providing services at no charge, because it's so hard.
That's a good one.
Great point. Keep track of.
Great point.
Yeah, that's true. And Barry, when it comes to on your side, I know it's like the analytics and by the way, a lot of the listeners, if you're going to go with Plan Forward, you'll be working with Janelle and Barry. You're working with them. So it's exciting to see who them here right now and what they're going to be saying. But when it comes to growing, I feel like this is the question we get a ton. It's like, hey, yeah, we're excited. We're going to start a membership plan and we're growing. We offer it. And then you start getting busy. And then it starts like you're just plateauing at 50 or 60. And then you don't know how to grow after that, or we can't grow after that. So what growth strategies do you have for us?
I mean, I really we always start with having the whole team on board so that everybody's talking about membership from the time you come into the practice, you're seen by the hygienist, the assistant's talking about it, everybody's talking about membership. And, making sure everybody's on the same page and then coming up with creative ways to, touch your patients or educate them on it, whether it means, putting in a note if somebody, declined it initially, but they come back and you show them their savings. That's another huge way to educate the patients and get them on board with membership, is whether it be just through their preventive care, which are, usually bundled services, or outstanding treatment, and saying, you have all this treatment. We really want to get you in. We want to get, your mouth healthy. Here's what you'd be saving by joining. So those are a couple of the ways that, we work to help with growth.
Gotcha. Sandy?
Well, I was just thinking about, I had a doctor that was thinking about a membership plan. Okay, this is before I ever heard of you guys. And he was saying, I don't know how I feel about discounting my fees because I'm fee for service. So, Barry, what would you say to that doctor?
I would say, how often do your fee for service patients come in? Do they come in regularly? Are they coming in every 18 months? Because when you have a patient who's committed by joining membership, they're committed to their preventive services. They are coming in twice a year for their recalls, and they're getting diagnosed because x-rays are included, and they are accepting treatment that they may have not accepted before because they're having savings.
That's a great answer. Yes, I agree with it 100%. Yeah, I'm going to have to look that guy up and call him and take
Yeah.
because that's a real world, right? It's a real world. And if I think about like this particular practice, 20-year-old practice with only 1.5 hygienists. So obviously that practice isn't retaining patients, right? Because they would have added more hygienists. So yeah, membership plan can help retain patients.
It helps with what we call the backdoor problem, right, Sandy?
Right. That's exactly. And that's a huge problem. In
It
fact,
is.
it amazes me how many people don't even know what that retention rate is in their practice. I always ask that question and people just look at me, I have no idea how many I retain. So that is a huge benefit of a membership plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And so then when, Barry, you mentioned creative ways. To you, what have you seen specifically, some of the practices that you've worked with? This is creative. This works. I want to let our audience know this right now. If they were to do it within a week, we'd see something of a needle move, whether it's tracking
I think Barry touched on it earlier with, a lot of them, like with outstanding treatment. Literally, we provide you with templated information. Obviously, we, add your information and help you design something that fits your practice personality from the aspect of the information that's going out on your behalf. And, notifying these patients to let them know, we understand that, you had this treatment that Dr. Smith recommended that you have done. We really, really care about your overall oral health. And we've implemented this membership plan where we can save you, X number of dollars on the treatment plan that was scheduled for you. We would love to get you enrolled in our plan and get you going to get you back to better health. Things like that to really help patients, understand that we do care about them. We do want them to get the help, oral health care up to the standard that we want them to be at. And, implementing things like that to help. And then on the same token, we can work with what we call our employer managed membership, which is basically a small business plan, reaching out to small businesses in your area. Most dental practices, not all, obviously, are small businesses. So they understand what that means. It's for their employees. So reaching out and making that connection with other small businesses to help them, help their employees is a really great way to help support the practice, but it also supports growing, patients within and supports another small business. It's a lot of ways that we can, really help. We provide social media graphics, we provide regular information going out to patients. Just a lot of unique areas that we do that we feel we provide great speakers like Sandy, who came and spoke for us and presented information, key opinion leaders and we do it all because we want our practices to have the information that they need to grow and thrive and, not just implement membership plans, but also in other areas of their practice. So it's a big process for us to make sure that we're supporting practices from as many areas as possible.
I love all these things. So, let's just look at this. So everything she just said, reaching out to small businesses, like turning that into some sort of benefit for employees. I haven't heard of anybody doing that. I mean, you guys that's wonderful. And something else is like, we all know for incomplete treatment, unscheduled treatment, that teams are calling and saying the same things over and over. And I always say, look, you got to change up the communication. So your idea is fantastic, reaching out to those patients with unscheduled treatment. I love that. Love that. You know what I mean? Like everybody's like doing the same thing, like just calling, you have that crown that you need to do. And that's all they know to say, right?
Mhm.
So mixing up how you reach out to the patients is genius.
Yes, and on that note is understanding your patient demographic. So some of your patients love snail mail. Some of them love texting. Some of them love email. And understanding that and reaching out to them in the way that best suits them to get a response.
Oh boy, do I love that. If you've listened to any of my other podcasts or my lectures, I talk about that all the time. I think it's important to be offering texting services, of course, these third-party companies, but for a lot of people, that doesn't always work. And I know young people that tell me that, you know what, I love texting my friends, but I don't want my doctor or dentist texting me. So yes, that is such a great point, Barry. Yeah.
Yeah. And Barry, when it comes to I guess, tracking it on your own membership plans compared to tracking it through Plan Forward, what have you seen if there is a spike in production or is there a spike when it comes to profits?
It's more controlled. So you're seeing, a patient came in for all of these services. They came in for their, 2 allotted exams, and now they're coming in for a third one. So now it's time to charge them. And with the visibility that you get through our integration with Plan Forward, you can easily check and make sure that 1, the patient is active and they are still on the plan. So they do deserve, the services that are included. And 2, how many of these services were already done.
Okay. So you guys organize and track every little thing, right?
Mhm.
Interesting. And the dashboard and the analytics to this, is it easy to follow along with, or is it a lot of bells and whistles?
It's easy to follow along with. We have, a few key metrics that we look at that are shown on our dashboard that show, what the members look like. What's the demographic of your members? How many of your members are on each plan that you have, whether it be, your adult plan, your senior plan, perio, child, et cetera. And then, how many of them are paying annually? How many of them are paying monthly? And then my favorite part is, keeping track of the goals. So how many uninsured patients do you have? How much potential is there in your practice to have a recurring revenue stream come in by converting those uninsured patients into members? And we're talking about revenue that's coming in just from the plan itself, not from the treatment that's accepted because now you're diagnosing, because you have a more loyal, trusting patient who's committed to care.
I love that. Love it. The thing that really attracted me to Plan Forward, besides all of you, everybody that works for Plan Forward is just like awesome and very knowledgeable about dentistry in general and how to run a practice and build a practice. But the software is just really easy to train your team on. And I think that getting a demo with you guys would be something that I highly recommend for all the listeners. Just schedule that and see what they can offer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Jenna, how would the demo work? Let's just say somebody's listening in right now and then they call or they schedule. How does that work?
That's a great question. We really try to listen to our people that are reaching out and asking information. What is it they're looking for? How can we best support them? Because we do have 2 separate platforms. One's more of an entry level, and then we have one that's a lot more dynamic, integrated with your practice management software. We can integrate with, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Barry, 25 or so different practice management softwares, and provide exceptional information to be able to really help from the growth perspective, the analytics, that whole piece. But either way, the platform supports the practice. So we really try to listen to what are their goals. Are they looking to go out a network? Are they already fee for service and they want to have something in place for their patients because they want to help those patients, like I said earlier, who really just need that little push to move forward with the treatment that they need? Are they looking to, be super aggressive and grow a certain demographic? honestly, the seniors are one of the largest growing, demographics within the membership plan space because they're looking for options. They're looking for something else out there because they're not employed anymore. They don't have access potentially to, insurance, dental insurance specifically. So they're looking for options. So really listening to what they're looking to do and then trying to help them build plans that are unique to their practice. And that's, again, when we talked about pain points earlier, that was one of the other pain points that we hear from other practices that have come from other membership plan companies. They're limited. They're like, you get A, B, and C plan, and that, and that's it. There's no way, no other movement, no other options. And we don't obviously recommend making it complicated, but we want to have plans that fit your practice, not just plans that are cookie cutter, spit out by, an algorithm, that doesn't know you or your practice and makes sense. So it's kind of really listening to them and really determining what they need to help support their practice overall.
Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Right. Right, Sandy, because I feel like at the same time when they're listening to you or you're listening to them, you're designing it, right? In their mind, you're thinking of like, okay, what's worked in your experience? Because you've worked in the practices, you've also done consulting and everything like that. So you're looking into it with everything else in mind that right? And then you're giving them the feedback and data instead of just a cookie cutter plan, like, oh, here's option 3.
Yeah, very much so.
Interesting. Anything, any questions on your side, Sandy?
I was wondering, how long does the demo last?
We usually schedule 30 minutes. Sometimes they run a little bit longer. The beginning is a lot of fact finding out about the culture of the practice, and then tailoring our deck and our actual demo of the software to the needs or the pain points of the particular practice.
Okay. I really liked what you said about there's so many people who want to drop plans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I really like what you said about being able to help those practices that want to be fee for service. So you have something to offer them, or you have suggestions. Do you go so far as that? I mean, you look at the demographics and you target certain people. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we're really try to, like you said, figure out exactly what they're looking for. And then, again, give them the information, specifically to meet their needs, but also try to find out what plans make the most sense. Do we need age-based, different things, that are involved. There's so many questions. And in the demo, we're really trying to do its discovery. We're really trying to learn about the practice, what they're, how we can, best support them. And if it's going out of network, then we have a whole nother realm, after we get them going, of supporting them with that whole process. Like you said, templated information to let these patients know that you're dropping, X insurance company for, whatever reason, because they're terrible, whatever, you want to say. But we have implemented this membership plan to help, support you. And it, covers way better than this plan. It's very unique to whatever the situation is, but things like that to really help support them. And then after the demo, where we really dive deep, once they come on board, we spend an hour doing a pricing analysis. So we look at their fees. We help them determine. I even go so far as to help them try to figure out, where are your fees? Are you up here in your 80%? Or are you down here in the 30%? Where? Because I don't want to base plan fees on something that you're considering potentially changing, in 6 months, because then that doesn't make the plan profitable for you anymore, or that doesn't make sense for the patient anymore. There's so many things involved. So we really try to dive deep into the pricing analysis and figure out, where do we want to go and what makes the most sense for that practice.
Amazing.
If the practice isn't comfortable with the way that the plans are priced or the plans that are created for their patients, they're not going to talk to their patients about it. They're not going to be excited about it. It's never going to grow, and it's not going to benefit the practice or the patients the way that they intend to.
Very good points. Very good. I'm excited. See, I didn't know you guys went to that extent.
Yeah. And if
we want it to be successful. We spend this time up front, and then we stay with them. We don't have, it's not like we, just drop them. Once we get them launched, we stay in touch on a monthly basis for the first, probably, 3 to 4 months. And then after that, it's really we try to get a feel. Again, if you don't want me calling you every month, I'm not calling every month, because I'm just being annoying, right? But if you are the type of person, yes, I want you to keep on me, remind me of this. let's talk about it. We're in. We're not the type that's like, well, you're not scheduled yet, so you can't call me. I mean, it doesn't work that. We support them how they need to be supported. And some of them are like, don't call me, send me an email. And however they, like Barry said, communicate with your patients the way they want to be communicated with. We communicate with our clients the same way.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I feel like a lot of the times, Janelle and Barry, do you feel like sometimes it's just accountability? Like they need accountability. Is your team talking about this? Is everybody doing this? Oh man, we were, but then we stopped kind of thing. Do y'all see that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's something that we try to really help them focus on and stay on top of, because like you said earlier, Sandy, they've got a million irons in the fire. They're trying to do all of these different things. And so we try our best to, make the software simple so that they can enroll patients easily, keep the information flowing from the aspect of getting patients notified. We send out, it's all automated. So we take some of the heavy lifting off of the front office teams to remind patients about their plans, let them know they're renewing, send them receipts when they make payments, like all of these things that are automated that help with that whole process to, make the plans profitable for the practice, show value to the patient, and help take that burden off the front office.
Very good. So how can the listeners get a demo? How can this happen?
Yeah. Barry?
You can go to the website and there is a calendar link and lots of open opportunities to schedule a time that works well for you. And then you may even see me on your demo. So
that's great. Yeah. I mean, I wish I had a dental practice. I'd be signing up for a demo.
Wonderful. And that's going to be in the show notes below for your listeners. But any final words for this episode, Sandy?
I just think that every practice listening, even if you already have a membership plan, you need to check this company out. As you know, if you've been following me for long, they're my first sponsorships. I have one other company after all of these years of consulting and speaking. It's just because I believe in them, and I think you should check them out. Highly recommend it.
And be sure to let us know that Sandy, you heard about us on Sandy's podcast, because we have a special offer because we love Sandy's members.
Thanks for doing that. What is the offer? What's the offer?
It's a discounted on the setup fee for any members that come on board through this podcast, because we just appreciate the fact that Sandy supports us. We love Sandy. We love what she's doing. I've known Sandy for, gosh, how many years? Or like 10, 15, I don't know, plus years. And I've always trusted and valued, her as a person. She's a wonderful consultant, but she's also a really great person. And so that's what, drew me to reaching out and kind of touching base and letting Sandy know that, that we would love to help her and her clients, and just being part of that has been fantastic, because Sandy believes in us and we believe in her. And so it makes a great partnership.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if you want to talk about this episode, come on the podcast or submit any questions, then you can do so by joining the Facebook group Dental Gumbo. And in there, you will also see the Plan Forward exclusive deal just for you. So make sure you check that out. And at the same time, go in the show notes below, click the first link in the show notes below to check out the exclusive deal that Janelle and Barry are talking about for you. And in our Dental Gumbo Facebook group, you can talk to us, see more advice and suggestions that Sandy has for your front office, your team, and your practice. So thank you all so much for tuning in. And Janelle and Barry, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure. We'll hear from you soon.
Thank you guys
for having us.
Thanks, Sandy.